Hello, my fellow Inside Out Underpants. I'm Mr. Church. By the end of this build video, you're going to know that I don't have a good enough therapist and that there is no God, and you'll know how to do a bunch of other stuff in this game. I want to build up here by Thunder Mountain Power Plant on the lake. Specifically, though, I want to build out in the far northeast corner of the map. There's no world objects over there, it's just water, and you need to place your camp on a world object. So a lot of people end up building on this boat here because it's the only thing that you can use for placing your camp module on. But we can do better than that. What we're going to do is build scaffolding out towards where we want to put our camp, and then when we get to the edge of our camp boundary, we're going to create a world object thanks to Fashnacht and some other things that are making the servers run as smooth as butter. Now, when you get to the end of the runway that I've created here, I'm going to pick up a carpet. You can use any object, but I like to use something that's big and flat, has a nice surface. So rugs, it is. What you want to do is pick it up and put it back down a bunch. It helps to spin it sometimes, and it also helps to go into a server that is not a private server where there's kind of a bunch of stuff going on, a nuke, an event where everyone's AFK and getting nuked because they're AFK, and stuff like that. So I went into a server of someone I know across the country, on the other side of the country, and it didn't work. So then I went to somewhere where I knew that they were in Germany, so the servers would have more latency. Does this have anything to do with the lag or anything like that? I couldn't really, you can't tell, though they don't get worse. It's kind of hard to when you set the bar that low. But eventually what's going to happen when you spam click is it's going to turn into this. You won't be able to pick it up anymore, and that is not a camp item anymore. And I can put this down on it, and it'll let me because it's not a camp item. And only I can see this, by the way. Oh, flashback. Anyway, after I went and got my unicorn mask, you'll see that this is right here. We're at the edge of the boundary now. Not any lag at all. And because I switched servers, the rug is gone. Doesn't really matter. You can't place camp stuff down on that anyway. You're going to have to use your module to place items on. You can build some stuff in the water, but not too many. So what I'm going to do, this is much easier than making a runway of carpets, is I'm just going to snap these over here. Now, if you want to do this, I will warn you, this stuff gets jammed together and locked up without a foundation underneath it. So you'll just need to move your camp to get it out of there. So I'm going to use this. It's much bigger and worse because it has the Enclave medallion on it. And just keep clicking and stuff. Again, I went into a public server for this. And it's kind of, you can see that the actual one is kind of glitching around with the fake one that we made, the world object. So this is now the world object. You can't interact with it. For some reason, this one, I had to click a shitload of times before it would let me place my camp on it. So if that's happening to you, just keep trying over and over again. What could be more fun? I like how I'm acting like you would actually follow this tutorial. When you get further on in this video, you're going to see that you're not going to fucking want to follow this tutorial. In fact, if you do, I want the people in your life, if you're watching this and you know someone is following this tutorial, that is a cry for help. So, you know, maybe check in on them if you can. Now, I want to keep in mind that I wouldn't be going through all this trouble if what I was going to build wasn't going to be worth it. Actually, yes, I am, because what I'm building, now that I think about it, isn't worth it. The amount of effort that I'm putting in isn't worth what we get at the end. So let's keep that in mind as we build, and that's going to really get us pumped up to keep going. So as what we're doing basically, and this, by the way, did take a couple of hours of my life that I'm not getting back. So yeah, I do like watching it back and seeing that happened. Yes, why do you ask? Anyway, we're just gonna keep kind of scaffolding our way to the northeast corner of the map, and I want to get like really far out there because what I'm going to build is like a little raft thing, and then a little building, like maybe like a pump house or something that has something to do with the power plant. But I want it to feel really remote and really spooky, you know, kind of isolated. So just pick that shit up and put it back down. Really fun. We love that. And then you can just move your camp a bunch. I don't know. So it'll say it needs support thousands of times. And then eventually, without anything changing or being different, it will eventually let you place down the camp. So yeah, that's fine. What I found is that, anyway, now we're gonna make something a little bit of fun. This is gonna be, so go to a workshop or something where there's a lot of flat area. Now, I got the idea for how to do this free place blueprint for these red barn doors from Game Badgers. And I'm gonna link the video where I found out how to do this. Now, I did figure out a way to kind of cut out a couple of steps from their method, but it is essentially their method. But yeah, so check that out. Give them a sub if you enjoy their content. What you're going to want to do, though, is break these doors, which will allow you to move this, and there won't be snapped to it anymore. So we're making a free place blueprint for these doors, and so you're going to break it, which will allow you to get it out of there. Then repair it. Now you're going to try to move it about a half of a door. So one door over. It's two doors. They slide apart. So one door to the side. And as you can see, this door does want to snap onto the end of that door for some reason. And so we're going to try to let it. So what you're going to do, and I did speed this up as much as I could, because this also was agonizingly painful and took a lot of time. But you're just going to keep moving it. Now, I originally thought, oh, I'm just going to move it arbitrarily. But eventually I realized that what you're trying to do is you're trying to get it exactly half of a door over. Well, again, just one door over. It's confusing me because it's one door, but it's also two doors. So I just can't speak very much well. And then you want to make sure front and backward, it's where the other door would be. And then it will, at that time, let you go in. So you can actually check on the inside a little bit easier to see if the door is over enough. And then once you think you have it, just make sure up and down is correct and front and back. So here I just realized, oh, it's too far forward. And then I'll move it back. And then it takes an hour and a half. And then eventually it will turn green and you can snap it in. Now, this is actually it. That was the hard part. Now you just have to, this is where I was able to cut out some of the steps. You just go in, I'm going to put a floor item down. I'm going to use a rug. You can use any floor item. And then just blueprint the two doors and the rug. When I'm testing out and making blueprints, I usually just make them numbers because I will save over them when they don't work. Now you're going to find that it won't place down normally because doors need something underneath them. So it will place on a foundation, but you will need to spam the fuck out of it sometimes because it's a little finicky in this form. So we're going to make, so you can actually use this for the build, but it's a little finicky. I'm going to show you how to make a little bit better version of this that will go down everywhere and wherever you want it to. It's not going to be oh, maybe it'll place if I keep spamming the button. So what you're going to do is I'm going to take this really thin rug here. You can probably use other rugs. I like this one because of how thin it is. And then you're going to spam click again to get this to place down on top of that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to blueprint these two doors and the thin rug. And that's going to give you the support underneath the door that the doors want. And it's going to be the thing that lets you place it down as well. So it'll let you place it, in the dirt and in other places where the other one wouldn't let you. So that is how you do it. And then you can just take one or, you can just delete one of the doors or keep them both there or whatever. They're very easy to work with once you get to that stage. But again, check out Game Badger's video, which I will link in the description. Let's get back to the lake. As you can see, we're very far out here, and that's what I wanted. And I made myself a little platform to stand on so I wouldn't be drowning while I built. Or waving. Not waving, but drowning. That was a poem you could read if you had literacy. I don't know. You could try having some. I tried it. I liked it. Now I'm going to take this wild mounted rifle range, and I'm going to place it, and it's going to be so fun to do, because when you pick up and put down prefabs, it lags the shit out. But you can barely notice the difference because of the lag you already have. Now, I'm going to pick this up just so that little area is sticking out of the water. This we're going to use to build our raft on, and then we're going to move the prefab and use that as a different structure. So it's really going to get its use in. Now, like I said, you can use the normal one. It'll place down on this because it will allow that to count as a foundation, but you could also use the other one with a rug underneath it. Now, the cool thing about these doors is, as you saw when we broke it, when we made the blueprint, is that they kind of sit kind of cool. And we're going to use these as rafts. Now, I had the idea when I first saw these broken, oh, that would be a cool raft. And then I never went back to that because I thought, that's going to be way too much work to try to get that to work. So why would I fucking do that? So yeah, as I said, cry for help, but it's fine. I'm okay. I'm doing fine. I'm doing okay. Why do you ask? So what we're going to do is, yeah, fun. This is going to be fun, so buckle up, guys. This is when things got even better, because you thought the other stuff would be more fun, but now this will be even better to do. What I like about building in this game is, well, I like that it encourages curiosity and, oh, wow, just unique. Anyway, so what we need to do is we need to build a platform for the raft because we can't place items on the raft. I'm going to call those doors rafts from now on. So what I need to do is I need to make a floor that's going to float. And it has to float so that we don't have garbage underneath the raft in the water. And almost everything in the camp menu, build menu, doesn't place in the water. So isn't that fun? And everything needs support. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make a platform out of these rugs, which will fit about the general shape of it. I want to leave those holes in it so you can see the water through it. And then I'm going to place that platform on top of one of these filing cabinets. Now, I've used filing cabinets before because they have a unique property where they are allowed to float. So if you place them down and then you move the thing you placed them on, the filing cabinet will still be there. So this means if the filing cabinet is the support for the platform, which we're building all the raft junk on, and if the filing cabinet can be placed in such a way that it's where the broken door is, then we can move the thing that the filing cabinet was originally placed on, and the filing cabinet will stay there, and so will all the junk. So, that, yes, I understand. I could have tried to, do something with my life, and instead this is what we're doing. I understand that. We don't need to talk about it, so thanks. Anyway, for bringing it up. And it's called negging, yes. Oh, wow, you could have worked for NASA, and instead you're making a fucking raft with a 4-foot raft on fall. Yes. Okay, well, no, I couldn't have worked for NASA, but I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's nice of you to say. Anyway, no. Okay, so what we're doing, obviously, is I'm placing the filing cabinet, which has the platform, down on this prefab chunk, okay? And now, once I get it where I want it, when I move the prefab, the filing cabinet and the rugs, because those are sitting on the filing cabinet, will still be there. They'll still be there, so we can build See, they're still there. So now we can expand on the rug platform with other rugs. I don't know why the water frozen textureness. That's good. Jello. Wow. We're gonna build in the Jello. Anyway. Sorry. It's just when I'm really excited, I get out of breath because I'm just so pumped up about this opportunity that I have today. Anyway, so in order to get these closer, I place down this pressure plate. And if you guys want to know how to drop merge stuff with a pressure plate, this is the wrong video to be watching for a tutorial, because the stuff I'm doing in this is not, don't do it. Don't do any of this stuff. It doesn't matter how long you've been building. It's not long enough. There has to be a line somewhere where we say, you know what, I could do that, but I could also go take a glass jar full of vinegar and smash it into my eyeball. So that doesn't mean I should do it. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, if you want to know more though about merging, or follow like any other thing, I do have some other tutorial videos that are better if you want to like actually build the stuff in them. So like, I have a really nice video that goes over some basic stuff, 12 essential camp items. That goes over merging. It also goes over a lot of the floating stuff that I showed, the burning things. Anyway, it's a better video than this, so maybe turn this one off and go watch that one instead. That's a good thing to say, I think. Why not? But no, I want to see how this turns out. Oh, do you? Wow. I think you will really like it. It's going to be worth this effort and all the trouble we went through. So that's good. Anyway, yeah. So we're not going to do the second raft. We're just going to do one raft because I don't need a wellness check at my house. You know what I mean? So let's just do one raft. Also, by the way, let's, for no reason, build a little platform to put the camp module on, which will move where I spawn in, so that when I spawn in, I'm not outside the camp boundary and can't move anymore. So I'm going to move the module as far to the south as I can. And in order to do that, I'm going to make a little platform to float in the water, and it's going to really be worth my time as well. So as you can see, I put the Iron Mountain Anvil prefab down in there to give me kind of a ramp. And then I'm going to place this Ooga egg up a stair, and I'm gonna blueprint the egg and then two little pieces of catwalk, these fortress fort time cat fort walks. And that's gonna give us a little ramp thing that we ramp. That's gonna give us a little raft thing as well, which you can put additional items on and it won't be as bad. But I'm gonna just put the camp module on it. I was hoping that that would be where I would spawn in, but instead I'm spawning in underwater inside the prefab that I put over there. By the way, move the prefab to over there because we're going to build a little building on top of it. Did I say that? Sure. Of course I did. Why wouldn't have I said that? Anyway, I'm going to put the module on this, which will move it this way more, so that will affect our spawn area. Now, like I said, I have other videos, so if you want to know how to, like, blueprint stuff, make this blueprint, this free place wall blueprint, I'll link that in the description. I actually have two different blueprint videos. This won't snap to there because there's not a carpet underneath it, and it's not liking the floor that it's on. But I wanted to show that I saw something very interesting on Reddit, and I lost the post, so I don't know who originally did it, but it sounded like he was really new to the game, and he didn't have catwalks, and he accidentally figured out something brilliant and genius, and I'm going to show you what it was. So I'm going to use this blueprint that Vapid Valentine came up with the vines, and I'm going to link the video as well where she shows that. But I'm going to take this mat, and I'm going to blueprint just the mat and just the wall. And this is really interesting, okay? And it's only going to be interesting for 7 people, but guys, just let us have this moment, okay? Let us have this moment. And so what you'll see is that it turns green or blue if you're colorblind, but it won't snap in because it needs a carpet underneath it, obviously. Why wouldn't it? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like at this point you're just intentionally being obtuse. Why wouldn't you need a carpet underneath your wall to place it down? Like, are you foolish? Anyway, once you're done being a buffoon and you place down a carpet like you would in a real life as well when you were building, put down a carpet, and I like to use this one because I hate it and it intersects with everything around it, so it's really hard to place. And then now we can take that blueprint I made, and even though it's only a rug and a wall, look, it goes down because it's snapping to the bottom of the roof, even though roofs don't have downward snapping anymore. Isn't that so interesting? Well, I told you only 7 of us would find it interesting, so you don't have to pretend. I already know, that's fine. But I thought it was pretty cool, and it's pretty interesting. If in very specific scenarios you can use this, you do need some kind of floor underneath it for it to work. So there's not very many times where it would be like actually helpful, but in very niche situations, if you don't have catwalks, it is a very cool thing to know, and it also helps me understand a little bit better how blueprints in general work. So that was fun, and let's get back to doing other stuff that's, you know, really fun as well. Okay, okay, do something. Wow, good job. Anyway, let's put a little bit of an army base roof on there, and I want to have the lip on the backside as well. But first, since let's do things out of order, I think it would be better to switch the walls out to something else. And like do the roof later. The idea of the build is you have the raft with stuff on it, and maybe they're bringing items over here where there's like this old abandoned pump shack that maybe has something to do with the power plant. And they think this will be a safe place because the ghouls won't get them from out here. And so they're kind of ferrying all their items over on these rafts because they don't have a boat. Actually, no, they have a boat, but it can't be placed in the water for some reason. I'm not sure why. So, yeah, that would be the story of it. Also, this is flickering. I fixed it. Simply put one of the roofs down flipped up and then flip it down rather than placing it flipped down. Did that make sense? Probably. Why wouldn't it? Anyway, I burned everything so I could shove these in. Anyway, like I was saying, that would be like the story of what was going on in here. Unfortunately, I did find out in one of my previous videos that having a story for your build it means you have autism. I didn't realize that. I guess the guy had like a sneak peek preview of the DSM-6. I'm not sure. Anyway, I wanted to use the Atlantic City Fog machine, but it has dice on it, and also, so let's hide it. But we can't hide it in the water because you can't place it in the water. So I'm going to put it on this thing and then put that thing in the water. But the other thing I was going to say is normally I'd put a switch, and then you can flip the weather on and off. But in this case, because of where we're putting it, it's going to be easier for me to go into FreeCam, go down there and attach or detach the wire, rather than swim down there, fumble in the dark, drown, and then maybe find the switch to flip it, and then come back up. So I'll just have it attached under there, and it's actually really cool. I'm going to hide it behind the building as well. You can't really see this stuff in here, which is nice. And as you can see, the weather is actually really good. Normally, I don't really like this weather machine because I feel like it kind of hides a lot of and obscures a lot of your build. But because we're on this flat lake, it more accentuates it, if anything. And it kind of is like this dark canvas, if you will. Anyway, I'm going to unattach that or detach it or whatever while I build so I can see what I'm doing. But I just wanted to let you guys know that if you have a story for your camp, like what it is, you do have autism, which is fine, obviously, but like it could be it's helpful to know stuff about yourself. And so that's good to know. So I'm building this. I thought I could also use the satellite dish, but it kind of like changes the whole vibe of the building. I think it looks cool still with a satellite dish, but it makes it more about the satellite dish, if that makes sense. Like, the story of what that building is, and I do apologize for the lore, changes when you have a massive satellite dish into something different. And I want it to have more to do with like a power utility feel that someone has moved their items onto and lives in, but that used to be something else. So this is the finished build, and it's nighttime, and it's actually daytime in this, but I have the fog machine on, or the Atlantic City machine on, and as you swim up, like, the way that it looks with this weather and with the lighting is so good, in my opinion. Now, I did add a lot of details to the build, and I'll walk you through them. I accidentally got into the sleeping bag, but don't worry, it's just going to take about 7 minutes to stand back up. And that'll give me plenty of time to tell you some of the other things I did. I put a little bobblehead in one of those chessboard displays, and that actually, because of how the broken door is, sunk down perfectly into the raft, so it just looks like there's a bobblehead sitting on the raft. Luckily, I don't look at it for the rest of the footage. Oh, there it is down there. You didn't see it. But it looks like it's a bobblehead sitting there. And what I'm hoping that someone is going to find the camp somehow and be confused and think that, like, it's like an existing area. It's like a location that was already here. And I just put my camp on it or something like that. That's always fun. Someone might repair the doors, but I can just put my flame trap on the heap of junk and then burn it and it'll be fine. But yeah, you have, like, just a really good chunky look. And remember, that is the shooting range, the top of the shooting range prefab that I'm building on, and it looks so good with, like, that old ductwork. And I wish they added ductwork stuff that we could build with, like those rusty pipes and stuff, those boxes, because the industrial look is very cool, and it really adds so much detail just to have that one pipe going down into the water. So yeah, that's pretty fun. Sometimes bad guys spawn down under there inside the build. But actually, this build didn't take me that long. It took me, like, maybe a day or so. A day. I think it took me a day, but I want to remind you guys the hyperfixation that I can have because of my lore ability, you know what I mean? And so that probably helped. And also, I'd already had kind of the concept in my brain for a few months, so that helped as well. So the actual build of it didn't take as long, but the thinking it through, learning, and then years of study, going to, Harvard University. Also, I got the idea to place something on a shelf like that from Vapid Valentine, and the idea to use this radiation glove box as a detail in the wall from Vapid Valentine, and I'll link her channel, and you should just go look at all her stuff, because she's cool, and she has really, really good builds. And I've actually learned a lot from just looking at her builds and stuff, just with the way she lights stuff up and decorates it. So let's look in the... I didn't actually add too much in the back, because it's kind of like almost off the map, so people won't really be back there. I have a couple of those boxes, generator boxes up there for, like, more power junk. And then inside, I wanted it to look like we kind of moved in here. So I wanted it to look like there's, like, stuff that would have been here already, like these, what are those called? The monitor things. Maybe that chalkboard of the power plant, the advertisement for the vaults that don't work, or that experiment on you, and then hopefully the blue of the radiation box kind of blends in with the modular computers, and then we have the junk and the tools and the signs and the radiation just pushed in here after the fact, and then the broken holes in the wall as well that we tried to repair. I used these little, oh yeah, by the way, I also, why am I walking like that? Added these little things like we are fishing here for some kind of mirelurk or something like that. But yeah, I use these little pyrotechnic rocket things as like a fence or something. Like a railing, I guess, would be a better word for it. But I do love just how this looks, the way, like, you can feel like something is going on here, the life of it, the lighting is very warm, except for that one weird garish light that I have over there. But that's fine. Don't worry about that. But I love the beeswax candle we got from Fasnacht. God knows we didn't, like, I didn't get any, like, of the glowing masks, the new ones, but I didn't really need them because I just, like, when am I going to wear them, you know? I'm over here doing calculus. But I did need to put the module on something because unlike the weather machine, I couldn't put the camp module on a thing and then move that into the water because it will just float. Like, if I try to move the module here, or the catwalk thing there, the module will just stay behind. It doesn't, like, stack like other items do. So I needed to have some kind of platform, and I didn't want it to be over on the building because then I will be spawning in outside of the bounds. So that's why I have that there. I didn't really explain that better earlier because I was going on some degenerate rant about something. But yeah, that is pretty much the size of it. I mean, I really love how this turned out, to be honest. Like, I was kind of afraid to try this because of how hard it would be and how little, like how small what I'm actually building is. But I really, really like how it feels. Like, the feel of it out here, getting it out this far on the map adds to the kind of, like, lonely, spooky, abandoned raft, you know, in the middle of the lake with a little lit up pump house here. I think it really has good vibes on it. Lots of good vibes, actually. And then maybe over here we have all the stuff that we're either bringing there or we were starting to bring it there and we died. I don't know. I don't want to say too much about what could have happened because I don't really have a story for it. These are just items here randomly. I just put items down randomly without any rhyme or reason. I thought that would be better. I thought it would look better to do that instead of having like a logical reason for placing the items down is actually what I did. So that's why the stuff is there. Oh, Sparkly! I just want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my patrons and channel members for your support. I really, really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And I do post additional bonus content on my Patreon. If you're interested in joining, the link for that is in the description. I also stream on Twitch, if you guys don't know. The link for that is also in the description. I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, free range.